It's coming home. It's coming. Football's coming home.
Tiamat's coming home.
Our home is in hell. She should stay there.
Technically, it's on the celestial plane, but that's a whole different thing.
It's not where I am.
I mean, yeah, but that's where God is, and I think it's fairly evident that, you know, considering two gods, whatever. Anyway, hello guys, welcome back to D&D. You're currently in the tower. You completed a bunch of the rooms at the tower last time. It was quite an intense session last time, actually, because a couple of you went down to the acid. In the acid room, that's clearly the hardest room.
Guys, am I right?
The oozes are clearly an unpopular enemy for every D&D campaign I've ever run in.
Oh, shut the
and what the fuck why is Chikara so small? And how'd she get there? And you then went into the ice room and completed that room. Totally wasn't a rip-off of Pokemon. And you did the fire room, which you all, I'm presuming, thought was going to be super hard. But no, it ended up that you guys chose the one room I didn't put combat in to the very last.
Yeah.
That's a good way of doing it.
I was finding it really funny because you guys were like getting yourselves really ready and prepped, and you were like healing yourselves to full and everything. And you went in and it was a word search. So I'm really glad we got the climax just right there.
The pen is mightier than the sword.
The pen is mightier than the sword. We start the session with you guys picking up the key in this room, and as you do, the if you remember, I said sort of all the words and stuff sort of shifted back to just being these grates in the floor, and they just all sort of raised up about an inch, revealing themselves now to just be standard. You can walk anywhere, you can do anything in this room. The final key is done. I'm presuming you exit the room.
I thought we did already. Just reading my notes.
Okay.
Yeah,
You exit the room,
waiting
and you are now stood. Yes, you are now stood in the central chamber. In this central chamber by this golden plinth, 5 keys in hand. What would you like to do?
Put keys in keyholes.
Everyone sort of got ourselves ready for a fight, and then did that one, but I think we're all pretty ready.
Yeah.
Is it something we're all going to have to turn the keys at the same time, like a submarine missile?
Like a nuke.
No, it is not. You ready the keys in hand. These keys that have taken you quite a while and some quite deadly encounters to get. You place the first one in, the lightning one, and as you sort of place it in, you can see the sort of arc of electricity just sort of jolt out and just magnetically pull the key into the hole. You place in the poison one, and as you do, this sort of foul odor from this sort of small puff emits from sort of placing it in and turning the key. The acid one, as you place it in, this small sort of drip of this black slime just sort of drips down, and you can hear it just sizzling against the gold of the plinth. The cold one, you place it in, it gets unbearably cold and icicles shrivel over, and with the same thing with the fire one, except this time it sort of glows red and burns hot, and you have to move your hand away just before it can before you can finish doing it. And as you do, if you remember, I said when you entered that this room has a sort of the flooring of this room is like tiles in a circular formation all the way round to the room. The room is about 50 feet sort of in width. About 20 feet out in every direction from the plinth, so at about a 20 foot radius, you see suddenly the tiles begin to shift. You can hear a lot of these sort of mechanizations within the tower beginning to move, and suddenly you begin to rise. This smaller platform you're on, rising up and up and up into the tower above.
Dun, dun, dun.
It is a bloody tall tower. It is a bloody tall tower and you guys aren't moving overly quickly. Is there anything you would like to do at this point?
Ready a stop it.
Take a short rest. I mean, take a long rest.
It wouldn't be that of a long rest. I mean, you're moving pretty quickly, but just due to the size of the tower and the sort of blandness of the walls all around you, like they're just sort of like flat stone, pretty much. Maybe some like evidence of like where the stone has been chiseled away. Every so often, you can reveal the bricks behind. It's pretty boring. Like you're just sort of watching slowly and slowly the walls sort of get closer and closer to the platform.
Is there any
You
other?
only really notice it every couple of minutes. You're like, oh, it's a little bit closer.
I think Tim might have skipped on elevator music, Matt.
Do, 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 do,
Can I,
do, do.
while we're going up, can I just look at the other three and say they never write about this bit in the songs, do they?
They never do.
Who said that?
After about 20 minutes of climbing.
My God.
Yeah. It's bloody boring. Well, maybe not boring. You're sort of like tending to your wounds. Dokrumir is.
And then after a while,
Hella
Yeah.
tense.
Yeah, and
after a while, it's
after,
like,
Hold on a sec. I think I have a pack of cards.
Oh,
Can we just
absolutely.
go with the master?
absolutely, just gonna start playing cards.
Actually, I do have a
You
deck
get
of
onto the
cards.
top and it's like, hang on 1 minute, we are in the middle
We
of
haven't finished.
Tim, I've got pocket aces. Let me play this hand, man.
Oh my god. So yeah, you're rising up and up and up, and after about 20 minutes of climbing, you're beginning to sort of ease, and like you say, the sort of the tenseness of it is starting to fade. You're taking a moment to sort of look over your gear. Oramis, you're sort of checking out the slightly melted blade of the slightly melted sort of hidden blade that you have. Oramis is Oramis, Doc, you're sort of checking over your armor. Seeing where some of the splints in your armor have melted. Yeah, what's left of it. Gylndan, you're sort of dusting yourself off. You've, a lot of you, anyone that was hit by the anything really, has now got sort of scratches in their robes and in their armor, and sort of holes been cut and things like that. Especially you, Gylndan, being pulled into that thing. You've definitely got
Like
a couple
sunburn
of
all
patches.
over.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh.
And you and Doc, both had to go down and unfortunately rolled somewhat not decently on the thing. So you do have the scars left over from that battle. Mazzy's okay because of course.
Is he hit at the back like a pussy? Did someone say that out loud?
That too.
That's what I heard. I mean, no.
Covering fire, I believe it's called.
Yes. Vital covering fire. That was. Yes. I've got that.
He has, because he hasn't been checking them off as he's been going along.
I've got 19 left because I didn't fire that many. Because those were useless in the
Slime.
the acid people.
Yeah.
So, like,
Oh, useless, just resistant.
And as you rise up and up and up, you begin to see. So, like, I'm assuming some of you have torches on right now. It is pretty much dark, so I'm assuming some of you have torches, and those with dark vision can see quite far. They can see like 60 feet up, and it's probably very, very daunting what you see after the first 20 minutes. Because for those of you with dark vision, this might be one of the first times you've ever seen pure darkness looming above you, and it gets closer and closer and closer the higher you get. You suddenly begin to see it a little more clearly, and you can see these sort of wisps of darkness flowing down. It's almost like a cloud. And you're very, very close to it now, and you suddenly begin to pass through. The room gets very, very, very cold. Almost to the point where you're thinking that you need to sort of...
Jesus.
What the shit? Almost to the point where you're thinking, you guys are gonna like freeze here, and you cannot see anything. This is very clearly some sort of magical darkness that's been impeded all around you, and you're sat in this for about a minute, before you can just hear this, no, you were meant to die, like the others. No matter. No matter. You rise and rise, and eventually you see this dim light from above you begin to open. Those of you with dark vision, anyway. Those of you without dark vision, you can still just see.
We're still playing cards, Matt and I.
Forgot I told the truth.
And you eventually rise through the darkness and appear inside a room. This room fits the dimensions of this platform that you're on pretty much exactly, the golden plinth being in the center. The walls of the room have sort of arches going all around, sort of separated by these middle columns. So it's like column, arch, with the, like, between the arches sort of set into the stone just a little bit. It's about 10-15 feet tall, this room. Not too tall, not too grand either. And you're sort of sat there for a brief minute, sort of thinking, well, was this it? Is this Team Last's big plan to just lock us in this room? And just as you're sort of thinking that, suddenly the walls that were set into the arches begin to open. And you realise now where you are. You are all the way up there.
Penthouse.
Yeah, boy.
As the walls begin to open, a literal cloud begins to seep into the room and pass all around you. It is kind of cold, and you can now hear the howling wind as it passes over you all. Light sheds into the room. This is probably quite a daunting experience for all of you, because this is the brightest light you guys have seen. It's daytime now. It is late into the afternoon, very, very late into the afternoon. You can't quite see the sun. It is still quite a cloudy day, and a couple of lower clouds loom over, looking to sort of come your way. Like I said, you get sort of enveloped in this cloud, and it's daunting for a minute, and you're sort of looking around, and then suddenly you can hear more of these mechanizations slowly spinning and turning. You look up, and you realize that the ceiling is actually made of these smaller metal circles that spin, almost like that of a lock, like a big sort of vault lock, sort of spin a few sort of digits and then stop. So, and then the inner circle, inner circle, and it goes down like this about a dozen times till eventually it reaches the innermost circle. And lowering from the roof of this place to then suddenly perch itself on top of the golden plinth is a very long and narrow black gem.
Oh,
this gem looks pretty much, if you imagine a sort of D8, but it's about 1 foot wide and 1 meter tall. It is pretty big, and it has this very dark aura about it. As it begins to lower, you can just see it seeps this sort of black mist, and this mist sort of crawls along the ground out of the tower, and you can see it get swept up by the wind as it suddenly as it begins to leave the tower through these arches. As you're looking at it for a moment, you're sort of pondering as to what the hell it could be, and then you begin to see this light brim within it. It's dim at first, and then suddenly it flashes bright white, and suddenly from way outside of you, you can hear this screech, this unholy, terrifying screech, and the flapping of some quite huge wings. And the screeching and the wings get further and further away. You're still enveloped in this cloud, so you can't quite see where that's coming from, but you can probably make a guess that it was a demon, and this, it seems, is how they're coming to Earth.
We have to destroy this gem, I think. But do we have the facilities to do that? That's the question.
don't think you have the facilities for that, big man.
Sorry, Oramis, you've picked up a new accent. Yeah, I think we need to
So
chat.
tempted to just launch an Eldritch Blast at it. Let's see what happens.
The only thing is that it looks like it has a lot of energy in it, so destroying it might release all that energy, and we don't really have a quick exit from up here.
If only Doc still had his shield, we could do like.
Well, we could Groot it with Doc's tiny shield. What a fantastic idea!
No, I was going to say do like Iron Man did in.
Well, I like that for a
Avengers
second.
with his shield and Hawkeye when they put the thing on Hulk.
What?
So you have Hulk there. There's puts the thing on in the last Avengers, right?
Yeah, but
Iron Man then gets this shield out, but just him and Hawkeye just stand behind. We'll just do that with Doc's shield, but Doc doesn't have it, so this is a pointless conversation.
It's a reference that really didn't land.
No.
I mean, why don't we
Well-
just go behind Oramis?
oh Christ!
No one will be safe.
Oh!
JJ, it's 8:11. You got to save the heavy stuff for later.
I'll also do the heavy stuff for tomorrow when we actually start drinking.
Trailer. Looking forward to that.
I mean,
I think I want to throw a lightning bolt at him, but I'm really worried that the energy is just going to be an issue. But it does need destroying. Maybe just throw it off the edge of the tower.
who's that again?
I was thinking that.
Doc,
But
make
then
a
if
save.
it breaks down the floors.
Wait, Luke, why am I taking the above damage?
Why are people rolling? What the hell are people rolling?
That was
what?
his
I don't know.
drawings.
I see. I see.
I mean, can we invent? Are there any arcane?
Can anyone else hear a
symbols or
beeping?
Anything like that? No.
What?
There aren't any arcane symbols, but anyone
You're
can
very
make
quiet,
an
Luke,
Arcana check to see if they might know anything about
Sure.
something along the lines of this gem.
Gylndan's probably got the best chance, so I'll give it a go. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're almost.
Yeah, definitely. Doc, you are looking at this gem, and your mind is more
Mazzy.
focused. Yes, so Mazzy's sort of looking at this
It's
gem,
a gem!
and as soon as he's looking at it, trying to think,
Exactly.
trying to think of any sort of arcane thing, his mind immediately just goes to, now I wonder how much it'd sell for, and his mind wanders off. Doc, you're looking at this thing, and your mind is suddenly taken elsewhere as you begin to realize that, you felt Apollo's presence throughout this entire place, though a little diminished within the tower. But now you're looking at it and you're realizing you can't feel him at all. You know you can still do magic, but there's something very, very unholy about this thing. And you really, he's either...
Guys, I don't like it.
he's just gone silent for you.
This thing got bad juju.
Gylndan, you would know that gems are often used as vestibules for some sort of energy.
Alexa, stop!
Much like in our modern day sort of battery. They are often used by wizards and witches and all sorts of things to control things, harness energy. When a spell is too strong for any particular item, certain gems of certain kinds can be created and things can be stored within it. Clearly it must be a pretty damn strong spell to take something from one plane and bring it into another, especially the 9 hells for all places.
Do I know if there'll be some backlash if we...
This thing is full of what looks like very, very dark arcane energy, and with the 21 I'd probably say that touching this thing with your bare hands will have some very seriously bad effects. I'm talking seriously bad.
Could I recommend that we all hold hands while we touch it and have a little dance off?
Are you going to come up with any ideas that aren't Marvel based?
That's my idea, man. I don't know what you're talking
Is it
about.
floating, or is it like on some sort of mountain?
It is floating. About an inch off the golden plinth, it's floating and slowly sort of spinning around. If you sort of imagine it's just slowly sort of spinning.
Right, there's no.
Right, yeah.
There's no. I was going to say there's no rush, so we could take it down and find a safe place to destroy it. But how would we move it?
Well, I was
How
going to say,
big again?
the thing you did to pick up the key from a distance, can you just try and gently like move it out of place? Would that
What
maybe
with Mage
disrupt-
Hand?
Yeah, would that like
I
disrupt-
think that's got a weight limit, and this thing sounds like it's going to be well above that weight limit.
Yeah. How tall is it again, Ben? Like a few
It's
meters?
about a meter tall and 1 foot wide.
Okay, right.
Double check the weight limit, JJ, but I think that's going to be well above it.
Yeah.
As you guys are speaking,
10 pounds, I
it
think.
suddenly begins to flash again, and then, and in the distance, once again, you can just hear this sort of ungodly screeching. Now, almost like two things screeching sort of in tandem, almost speaking to each other, but one set of wings, which is kind of weird, and you can just hear them flutter off into the distance.
Heavier than 4 kilos. Yes.
Yes.
I mean, I
Sounds like
doubt
we need to take those mage hands to the gym.
Oramis. No, not Oramis. Did someone have like a blast to push things back?
I've got my staff. I could give it a prod with the staff.
I mean, yeah, you can. You know that obviously, you know, it's not necessarily like transferable like electricity, so you could like tap it or whack it or move it with items per se. Yeah.
I don't know here, lads.
Or destroy it with items. You could just give it a whack with a hammer.
Are there any places where it's like walls, or is it entirely like open at the top? Like,
What do you mean?
Can you put your back to a wall at any point? In
Could
this?
we-
You can put your back to the columns
Right.
of the place. So you know, like I said, it's like arches with like sort of columns in between.
Right.
Columns being like, you know, like a couple of feet sort of
Okay. So
wide,
enough that
so-
you could like use to brace yourself.
yeah.
So why doesn't everyone take a column and then someone try like attacking the thing from a distance, just in case there's like a big push or something like that, no one gets like blown off.
Ben, how big is
we've
it?
already said that it will.
This room is 20 by 20 feet.
I feel like with the Arcana roll that I had, that I think anything, it's really risky doing that because if it blows, we're gone. I think.
You wouldn't
Yeah.
not necessarily think that. You know that it holds an amount.
Well,
of
I mean,
energy.
Luke's Eldritch Blast it already, so
Are you doing that, Oramis? Are you just blasting it?
Yeah, I'm just blasting it.
sayonara,
Who's
chaps. It's been a
standing
real
there?
pleasure.
Suddenly, oh, he's done something.
I will say, for the benefit of not killing everyone, that Doc has mentioned this, and at least some of you have caught on to the idea that, oh shit, maybe we should get towards a column. C will get some sort of advantage should something happen, but yeah, so
Should something
Oramis-
happen?
should something happen. So Oramis, you know, you're hearing sort of Doc and Gylndan sort of nattering on about whatever, and you're just like, oh fuck this. You harness this energy in your hand again. You loose it towards the gem. It strikes on exactly just one of the sort of corners, sort of just like blowing past it, and there's a crack that appears over one side. This crack sort of like emanates over the entire thing, suddenly wrapping it in this sort of net of like network of sort of cracks and dents, and then very suddenly, bang! It explodes, but only by about an inch. All these shards, hundreds of shards, by the way, just seem to sort of hover there, about an inch away, vibrating, as if some kind of ungodly energy is about to pulse it forward. You all have one reaction, as if, imagine I've just said click. What do you do?
I'll brace on the column,
High
absolutely.
behind the column if we've made it.
Brace against the column.
Okay. Everyone roll an initiative to see whether you can get to the column in time.
Oh, Christ.
I'll take that.
Doc, I'd say you had it was your idea. You're probably thinking,
God.
yeah, I should probably get there, and I should probably get there in time. So, Doc, you probably made it.
It's not awful.
It's the same.
Okay. Ooh.
May have doomed
Now.
us all.
You may
Now,
have just killed all of us but survived yourself.
I will say, for the purposes of this, make me a... Okay, so Mazzy, Doc, and Oramis. Make me a dexterity saving throw. Okay, so you would be pushed back that many feet, so it's 1d6 for every 10 feet. So it's 3 plus 5 is 8. Oramis and Mazzy, you take 4 damage. Doc, you take 8 damage, 8 bludgeoning damage as you're suddenly pushed back into this thing. But Gylndan, you suddenly find yourself, so no, you've seen Oramis sort of blast this thing away, and you're sort of mid-thought, and it's just out of the corner of your eye do you see this blast suddenly rupture against the thing, and it begin to open. You begin to dash towards a column, but you can't quite make it there in time. Make me a strength saving throw.
Oh dear.
Well, I hope you're happy, Oramis.
Yeah.
You are
Ben trying so desperately to keep me alive.
you are suddenly flung across the room, landing very, very hard on your back. You're rolling, you're sliding along the floor. You are a couple of feet now from the very edge. What do you do?
I'll fling my staff out behind me and just try and someone grab me, please.
Okay.
Well, actually, no, that's far too formal. I would just say, grab me!
I think
Okay.
just a scream would be enough for us to say shit. Yeah.
Okay, I'll say that you and Doc were talking, and Oramis did this. I said it was sort of from the corner of your eye, so he might have probably not been near you. Mazzy and Doc, make me a dexterity saving throw to try and leap over and grab Gylndan.
Oh, two
Oh, no.
Oh,
Here he is.
Here
The
he
big
is.
man.
So, you see Gylndan get thrown back. It's like thrown backwards, landing very, very hard on his back. I meant to roll the damage very, very quickly for landing on your back. You take 5 damage, bludgeoning damage, landing on your back, and you're sort of rolling across. You then sort of manage to turn yourself around, sliding. You reach out your staff. Mazzy begins his sort of run, but Doc has already sort of realized, being the sort of forward thinker, realizing what might have happened, he was already mid-dive by the time that you'd got your staff out, landed on your staff, being a heavy boy, still somewhat heavy armor.
can you say
and,
that?
His hammer and everything. Well, a very dense boy, rather.
Oh, that's much better, Ben.
Lands sort of on your thing. You're still holding on. You just about hold on. Your hand slips down the staff just briefly, and your legs are suddenly just dangling off the side of the tower. As you sit up, you just take a brief second to look down, and miles down, you can just about see the lake that you're above. Like, just.
Oh, it would have been fine then. Like lying in the lake, sorry.
Glynn's got Misty Step, so
That is
Can you imagine?
literal miles down. While all this is going on, can I also get you all to make a Constitution saving throw?
Oh, for goodness sake.
I know it's a lot of saves, my apologies.
No, I'm not angry at you. I'm angry at Oramis for giving us no time whatsoever to deal with this.
No, I suggested it. I was like, let's all brace, everyone be ready if we're going to try this thing.
Aramis is like a little bit ADHD, you know, like he had this idea pop into his head that, well, it's not his idea.
It came out of Doc's mouth. Popped into
his head.
The DC was 15, so Gylndan, you passed, Doc, you passed, Oramis, you passed, Mazzy, you failed. 3.
Mazzy, you're not throwing it.
Take all of your help.
This is all the damage you should have taken earlier when you were hiding.
Could you please take for me 21 points of necrotic damage?
Oh my.
Everyone else
Sure.
takes half.
Why not?
So 10.
So this blast bursts out,
It's a good thing we healed, by the way.
and then the more of this mist just sort of follows. You're all sort of beaten up, a little bit scrapped up. You can see shards of all of this gem now absolutely everywhere, all along the floor. You can maybe make out a couple of pieces that are big enough to be anything other than just dust. But in the middle of the room, something a little more creepy and eerie now replaces where the gem was. 4 spinning orbs of different colours twirling around one another. 1 white, 1 purple, 1 green,
Infinity
and
stones.
1 red.
1 white, 1 green.
Purple, 1 green, and 1 red. They spin around each other chaotically, and one of them almost lights up from within the middle, and you can hear a voice. And this voice begins to speak. The chaotic plane, the material plane. How primitive. Interesting to be back here again. Another voice begins to speak from the green orb. Lovely to be home once more. The purple one then speaks. Take a good look. This world will burn in the Dragon Mother's age. We are only the beginning. And finally, in the red orb, a voice begins to appear that none of you can recognize. It's spoken in a language none of you recognize, other than Mazzy, who recognizes it as infernal. And you can suddenly just hear this voice being like, "We shall ruin this plane. This is our domain now." The purple one speaks again. "Everybody, do you know your assignments? We cannot fail the Dragon Mother." "Yes, we must kill." And then, like a flash, they all dissipate and fling off in separate directions. Now, someone's definitely going to want to write this bit down. The red orb flies north from where you are. So if I stick you back on the map, you guys are currently here. The red orb flings north. How far north you don't know, but it's seemingly pretty
these
far.
orbs? Like a football?
Like a baseball.
Okay, small.
Yeah, with like a sort of white light shining in the middle, and then sort of the rest of it is the colour that I said, and they're covered in this sort of cloud of sort of mist, and it trails behind them as they fly off. So the red one flies north, this sort of dark, grinning and sort of giggling almost, flying ahead. The next orb flies southeast from your position.
Which colour?
Again, this the green one, almost a giggling sensation here from this sort of very ethereal, very hollow voice. The next two fly in similar directions. However, one seems to go a little bit lower, and one seems to go a little bit higher. So one sort of more towards the mountains, and one a little higher over. The white orb heads higher, and the purple orb heads lower, as if towards the mountains.
Which direction is that?
That is southwest. No, southeast. East. The green one was west. The other one was east. Sorry, I got them.
Southwest. Green one, yeah.
Southwest for the green one. Southeast for the white and the purple one.
And white goes higher.
And red goes higher.
Red
goes north. Yes. Okay, I messed that up. Red goes north.
Yes.
Green, southeast.
Southwest.
Southeast. West. I know my. If you're looking at the map.
God, we're awful at directions.
Red went up.
North.
Yeah.
North. Green went lower left.
Southwest.
Southwest. The other two went lower right. So southeast.
Southeast.
Yeah,
one went.
The white and the purple were flying sort of at different heights. So the white one was higher.
Yeah, so the white one was higher, the purple one was lower. You know, I've been practicing that little spiel since you guys did the first session, and I fucked it up on the.
I hate to say this, Ben.
Just like
there's a map. There's a compass on the map.
There is, and you know what? I've only just remembered that now, so I messed up. But yes, so you see these orbs fling off in their directions unreasonably fast. They're, I'm talking like 50 foot a second, kind of fast. You can other than the sort of trail they leave, you might not have even been able to sort of see where they're going. And just as they sort of flutter off, once again, a cloud plummets over the tower, enveloping you once again in this sort of dim, very misty surrounding. What would you all like to do?
Was there anything else up in this room?
There isn't, no. After a couple of moments, it will the platform will once again lower, but is there anything you would like to do now?
I think we may have just kicked the hornet's nest, boys. Nothing like a few generals to the main bad guy to deal with.
Well,
Had to be done at some point.
maybe you guys already know who these things are. Or what these, you probably know, actually you do know what these things are.
Donde está?
Well, as there's no danger,
Think back to the library.
right now, I'm just going to walk over to Oramis and properly punch him in the face.
Roll to hit, sir. just strength plus proficiency bonus.
For why?
I'll do a pull with
Dickhead behaviour.
Or just take 10 damage.
That is emotionally.
Because it's 1 plus strength. His strength is 4, so it's 5 doubled 10.
You double the dice.
Oh no, yeah. So actually, it's 6. You take 6 damage. No,
That is an emotionally charged punch. After Mazzy's hit him, can I come across and slap him with my staff?
You deserve it!
Straight in the shins.
You fail. You fail badly.
I catch your staff.
Yeah, since we're not on initiative, since you've caught my staff, I'm just going to go with my silver dagger.
So still misses.
Still misses, yeah.
Alright, well then I'm just going to throw a magic missile at him.
Oh my god.
Just 3 of these boys. 11 damage, mate.
How do you uncanny dodge a magic missile? Is it one missile?
You don't. There is no way to uncanny dodge a magic missile. Actually, no. It is no. It is damage. So I'd probably say it is. You can see the missiles coming at you, and they still hit. But instead of like hitting you straight in the stomach and chest, you now sort of dodge, and it hits you just like at the side of your side, like just sort of on your side. Maybe just skims your shoulder. One in like the upper arm.
So
less vital places.
5 damage.
So you take 5 damage. 5.
After that, I'm just going to look at Doc and say, do you want to have a go as well, then?
Why am I getting the aggro?
Because you're unjust.
Everybody
You
up
don't
on
want
you
to
are
catch
naming them. Don't catch me.
You'll have to catch me first.
Can you just push him off the edge just quickly? If you do catch him.
Yeah, you will forget. He's got this man's got what's it called? That can knock. What's it called? That can knock you off the edge.
Oh,
be wary.
Thunderwave.
Thunderwave. That's it.
I'll just staff him off the edge first.
Oh, we're not doing the PvP until you guys come around for the weekend.
Right,
PvP
but
starts now.
having-
Roll initiative. Yeah.
Having damaged him, I'll say, we do things as a unit, and if you can't get that through your thick skull, there's no place for you in this company.
Suck my unit.
You're asking to be pushed off this tower.
I mean, I could push him off and then resurrect him.
That would definitely teach him, I think.
I'll teach you
I
a
mean,
lesson.
can you get down there within a minute?
Oh, it's already happened.
I've hit him again because he said suck my unit. Two-handed, 9 damage.
You got to call it before you see the number.
I heard
Seen
it
the number.
before. I mean, I'll be a witness.
Oh dear lord.
I volunteer as tribute.
Oramis, take 9 damage. On top.
I'm sorry, I'm so aggressive today.
Wow, this is
I'll bang my hammer on the floor and just tell everyone to calm the fuck down.
that's
I
good
did,
because
to
I
be
was
fair.
actually
Roll-
about to say conceal blades. Sam.
roll intimidation, Doc. Roll intimidation.
Oh, this is gonna be pantsy.
If it's not good enough,
I would
Sam,
say
it's
because
good.
they're your friends, you don't get the advantage like you do with most other people.
Yeah, that's fair.
We know he's ugly.
You guys are sort of looking at him like
Please stop fucking
you can tell Doc is serious, but you're all you can tell Doc is serious, but you're all sort of too preoccupied to really care.
The red mist
like-
has descended, I almost died, man. Genuinely,
Oh.
I think you'd have killed me then. If they hadn't done one of those saves, I think I'd have been off the edge of the tower.
You might have done, which would have been a bit of a thing. But I mean, you got. Didn't you have Featherfall?
Oh, I don't have it equipped. I was going to,
Oh.
but then we ended up on the bottom floor. I thought, I don't know, I just didn't equip it in the end. But that would have been very useful.
I maintain that you have Misty Step.
Yeah, I do have Misty Step, but it's more the principle of, like, we would not come to any sort of conclusion. Oramis, we're making a plan. Oh, sorry, Eldritch Blast. I didn't hear you over the sound of that hitting the gem.
I didn't hear you over the sound of my Eldritch Blast.
Sorry, you're complaining. It's like throwing someone in the sea who's got a life jacket on and can swim, and then be like, "You nearly drowned me." Well, I didn't, did I?
You did almost
Yeah,
drown
but-
me. What if I didn't have my
yeah, but
spell slot
also-
stuff? You didn't know that, did you?
Also,
You
what
had
if, like,
no
Mandy
clue
got
what was
thrown?
going to happen there, Luke. We could have
Exactly,
all
yeah.
died.
Well,
You had no clue.
I got the session moving.
You got stuff happening. I feel like this maybe have taken
No.
slightly
I am somewhat thankful. You got shit moving.
I
Which
was
is always good.
doing the exact same thing with slightly more
With a
caution.
brace. Yeah.
At least you would have discussed it as a group.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
This is true. As you guys are sort of discussing and whacking each other and generally pissing off Oramis, or being pissed off at Oramis, suddenly you can hear these mechanizations go again, and the tower, well, not the tower, but the platform slowly begins to descend. It goes down
Another game of canasta as
and
we go back
down and down into this
Is it-
black mist.
It's a long time to be together, sort of stewing in anger, isn't it? There's nowhere for us to go.
The tower gets wider, so there's a drop off the platform.
As you are heading through this black mist, you just hear this. Oh, simple creatures, mortals. Oh, how very simple. And as you then escape the darkness, this cloud sort of looming over you, in the middle of the room where this golden plinth once stood, you can see the shadowy sort of silhouette and some features of a woman. The woman is very slender, very curvy, and you can tell she's wearing this long, sort of elegant dress. Her hair sort of flows back, but almost as if she's, like in water, or there's no gravity. Her hair's just sort of flowing. And on her neck, the only colour she has over her body is a necklace with 5 gems. 1 red, 1 white, 1 black, 1 blue, and 1 green. She stands there at first and just sort of claps at each of you, and then begins to walk between you, almost very seductively, like coils of her form, like coils of sort of misty form, very sort of seductively sort of looming over each of you, and she goes, "Oh, guardians, you played your part so very well. Thank you. Oh, thank you." She continues to walk between you. Is there anything anyone would like to say at this point?
Just Eldritch Blast, Oramis, go on. Fixes all your problems today.
That is an excellent suggestion. However, I see a potential problem with that.
What?
I don't know the repercussions. I just Eldritch blasting. Who knows what could happen? That's very dangerous. I'd never do something like that.
Again.
Ben, you said I think back to that document we got in when Oramis and I did the library heist.
Yeah.
Do you remember what channel you put that in?
I should have put that in No, I didn't. I remember now. I put it in that little one. That little one of me, you, and Luke. No, I didn't. I don't know where it is then.
I think I might have saved it in my notes. I'll try and find it. You carry on. That's fine.
I'll look it up. I'm pretty sure it's in the group chat, in the Facebook group chat. If you look it up there, it should be in there. Because I remember JJ asking about it.
I think you might be right.
As she's walking between you all, she sort of looks at each one of you sort of up and down, and she's again sort of, got this sort of giggling as if sort of waiting for you guys to respond. But she is still sort of walking between you and sort of weaving between each of you. Her sort of coils again sort of looming over you. You cast Banishment?
Yeah.
Nothing happens.
Can't wait for this to do nothing, I don't think.
You attempt to place your sort of hand on her or sort of look at her with her holy symbol. And yeah, so you sort of hold your holy symbol and look towards her, and then like nothing happens, and she just giggles. "Oh, Apollo can't save you now, filthy dwarf.
Well, fuck you too.
He will remain in the graveyards of Celestia when I'm done. All the gods will."
Can I ask, Ben?
Mm-hmm.
Is this Tiamat in her dragon human form like we saw Albus, or is this like a projection that she wants us to see her this way?
Interesting question. How would you know that? You Make me an
Thank you.
Arcana check.
Okay.
Just sort of looking at this projection.
Nothing.
You can't really tell. You know this form isn't real, so you know that this isn't necessarily a real form, and you know that dragons can do this. It might make sense, obviously, that a god could do it, or at least an ex-god could do it.
You actually chin a little harder, Sam. You might see.
So I guess, but I mean, you got no idea.
Okay.
Gylndan, you're sort of looking at it, and you're going, yeah, this is probably some sort of thing of like.
That's defo Tiamat.
Yeah, this is probably Tiamat in one of her forms, much like you have seen Albers and stuff in their half dragon. Although you've only ever seen Albers and stuff in their half dragon form, this is a purely humanoid form, a very slender, sort of curvaceous woman. So it's you think it's probably within the realms of something who was once a god, something that has had the power to make all of this stuff happen. Sure, and why the hell not? It is definitely very sort of eerie and strange, though, sort of how she's acting, as if she's she's very cocky and smug.
How would you maybe play that part?
Yeah, I'll say like, okay, Tiamat, we'll bite. How have we played our part?
Oh, you've been my presence on the material plane, as it were. Thank you for freeing my friends. They've been trapped in that gem for some time.
You said earlier that we'd know who those friends were.
Yes.
Could you tell us that real quick?
Yeah, so in the thing, it said that, in the book, if you remember, it said that Tiamat often, to sort of rain chaos before she arrives, it was said that she unleashed her priests of Tiamat. These, whatever they are, whatever they were, these things that are loyal to her to a fault, and seem to be her somewhat like generals or servants or something like that. You can probably guess if they're under the dominion of her, under her sort of power and stuff, they're probably, somewhat powerful. Something to be maybe reckoned with.
Do we know if they're dragons? Or are they something totally different?
Well, given the fact that none of them spoke Draconic and one of them actually spoke Infernal, you never know. You just don't know. But I guess maybe you're going to have to follow those orbs and find out, eh?
If she's finished talking, I'm going to say...
She's sort of looking around at her and just glaring at you, just sort of laughing very, very smugly every so often.
I'm going to say... We'll deal with them just like we dealt with Vinicius. Is that his name? Vinicius?
Yeah, Vinicius.
Yeah, thank you.
Such a shame he couldn't be here to greet all the new ones. I will admit, he was a mistake. He was emotional. Too many ties should never been allowed into the priesthood, but these ones are not like him. I will guarantee you that. Speaking of Vinicius, would you like to say hello?
Not especially.
Wasn't particularly fond.
It wasn't that kind of relationship.
She walks out sort of into an open space and sort of unveils her arm, and there, sort of low on the ground in manacles, it appears is Vinicius, but he's sort of like half there, half whole. It's not really him. You can tell. You can sort of see through him somewhat, and his sort of where his sort of waist and legs go, sort of falls into this sort of wraith-like visage. He's got sort of scars all over his body. He's bruised and hurt. And as Tiamat sort of looks down at him, she sort of crouches down and like, "Take a look, Vinicius. Your old friends are here to say hello." He looks up briefly at you. And then back down. Just sort of... like... he's clearly in some kind of... he's clearly broken. This isn't... if you remember, sort of his body sort of vanished, burned up when he died. You've probably just now found out where the hell he went or what happened to him. Anyway, gentlemen, you've been a fun game, but unfortunately, you're not worth my time. Yes, Luke, he is the dude you fought in the north.
I thought that was Jeremy Buttons.
He was pretending to be Jeremy Buttons.
Can you imagine if this really serious moment, she just whips me out, and someone just goes, "Oh, you're right, Jeremy. You look so good."
She sort of looks at you, thanks you for sort of your time, and then sort of gives you one last glare. Her eyes now sort of lighting up with these sort of different colours that are also on a necklace, which are also sort of lighting up, and she just looks at you and just goes, "I will be seeing you all real soon, but your wizard friend can tell you all about that, can't he?" And she sinks into the ground, and she is gone.
What does she mean?
I don't know what she's all about, man.
What do you know?
Well, she might be referring to the vision I had a while ago, which I thought would happen in this, but it hasn't. So that vision's still to come.
Have you
That's
told
fighting.
us about?
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure I mentioned it after. I'm pretty sure I said it in the pub actually over a few drinks, as you do. How's your day at work? I had a vision where we'll die in the future. So I'm hoping that's what she means. But I'm also hoping that doesn't happen.
To somewhat confirm your theory, as you're sort of travelling down, you now sort of see rising up these sudden engravings and drawings in the walls. And Gylndan, you immediately recognise them. The guys have never seen them before, and they are pretty ghastly. The first is of a great sort of abomination creature holding Dokrumir upon a spike. It like impaled through this spike. It is gruesome as hell. The second one is of Mazzy, and a lot of the guys you saw back in the north, actually, Mittens and Davyak and all sorts, all wrapped up in these vines. But Mazzy's at the very, very forefront, wrapped up in these vines, halfway into the ground. These huge thorns impaled all throughout their body. Oramis, you are within the mighty maw of this giant serpent, water serpent-like creature, and Gylndan, you're like in the middle of being burned away by this great force of energy from Tiamat herself. Well, it's from Tiamat herself. In the image, it doesn't show Tiamat; it just shows you sort of being like you're like in the middle of being burned away. Like you can sort of see half your face, and then the rest of it just like your skull and stuff just being like ripped.
Mr. Stark, I don't feel so good. I'm gonna say easy lads. Just because the future's been glimpsed doesn't mean it will happen.
Nice. You eventually sort of hit the ground with a sort of very, very loud and echoing sort of... A few moments pass and suddenly water slowly ripples and rises up from your feet. It goes very, very slowly at first, but then much faster and faster, and all of a sudden you find yourselves enveloped by this dark... by these very, very dark waters. You're unsure of what the hell to do. You're trying to swim, you're trying to sort of pull yourself, you're scrabbling for breath, you're trying to sort of swim upwards, and you think you're getting absolutely nowhere, and then suddenly you feel something. Each of you, every single one of you, feel something on your shoulders, in your arms, and you're being pulled suddenly up high, and you come to the surface of the water, taking in this very, very deep breath, and you find yourselves now on a boat no bigger than the old Dragon's Revenge. Soldiers all around you. As you look up, you can see the mighty tower above you, and the familiar face of Moraine is actually on this boat. She sort of stands there like, oh my god, I'm so glad you're okay. You're all okay, thank the gods. And she sort of sits down in sort of heavy breath, and all these soldiers, one's pulling you up from the bottom. It takes a couple of soldiers to pull Doc up, wearing heavy armor and stuff.
Why are we fat shaming?
Because he's a chunky boy.
They're all,
was the word I used.
and they're all suddenly just like overly excited now to see, you guys are the first people back from the tower. And a very brief applaud is sort of held by these guys before they immediately like, come on, let's get you lads back to shore. And they unfurl the sails once more. Sort of, some of them get on the sort of oars, and they begin to drift back to shore. Moraine tells you that she saw a vision a couple of days ago of you being in such a lake. You didn't know what lake it was. You didn't know anything. She didn't know, what lake it was or where the hell you were. She just saw you guys suddenly drowning. So she took a pretty big guess, and she found you. Very luckily, it took a lot of convincing. A lot of the soldiers not really believing that anyone would come back from the tower. But she managed to convince a couple that would set sail onto the middle of the lake and come grab you, and here you are.
Oh, thank you, Moraine.
Oh, it's no worries. I'm just glad you're all right. What the hell happened in there?
I think it's complicated.
Complicated. Complicated how? Who's your new friend?
Who?
You all begin to look around, and suddenly behind you can see an elf, a high elf, wearing sorcerer's robes, and has a wand in his hand, and he's just as drenched as you guys are, clearly pulled up by the guards, and he's like, "Well, how did I get here? Where am I? You're those, what do they call you? You're like our name, but you weren't our name. You're the protectors or something."
The Guardians? The Guardians.
That's it. Yes, the what the hell's going on?
Sorry, who are you again? Were you one of was it the piss-stained patrollers? Is that what you were called?
Bloody excuse me. My name is Dorvik. I was part of the Sentinels. Thank you very bloody much. Where are my friends? Have you?
Sorry, what was his name again?
Dorvik.
Dorvik.
Have you seen them? Are they here, lads? And he just begins shouting them out, like asking the guards to come help him look through the waters, and he's struggling, but there is clearly no sign of them anywhere.
I go over and just put a hand on his back. Just try and say, well, not try and say, just say, I'm not sure they made it.
I thought as much.
Oh, he gave up on his friends really easy.
And he sort of slumps.
We got to the top and then just did a magic attack on the crystal, and they all fell off the side.
Maybe.
Maybe.
He slumps back, sort of into his into the sort of into one of the sort of sides. One of the guards gives over blankets to all of you to sort of dry yourselves off, and he just sort of sits there, sort of very, very quietly, just mumbling to himself.
Can I cast detect
What
magic?
happens?
Yeah, you cast detect magic. You see a lot of different magic types off this guy, and from it you realize that he himself is magic. He is a sorcerer. But other than that, there is no real magical sense to him at all.
Okay, so he's not.
What happened in there, Dorbick?
No. We entered the lake and we entered the end of the tower, and it's also fuzzy. We tried to enter those rooms, but we couldn't. And but when Salvin, the rogue, the thief of our party, he tried to push his way through that door of which what we assumed was acid, and some black tentacle just came up and burned him alive, stuck him to the door.
Horrid death.
After that is when the demons came down and attacked. I thought I was, and he places a hand sort of upon his chest and he pulls sort of his robes slightly apart, and there is a mark of where something, Doc, you would know, being proficient in medicine, there is a mark of where, it looks like there was a wound here. It looks like it's been healed up pretty well, but there is a quite sort of big wound just about sort of where his sort of diaphragm is. I was killed. So I thought I don't know. And then I appeared in the water with you lot. But no, there was something else. There was a dream. I can't remember. I need rest. Rest. Yes. Well, looking at you, boys, you look like you could need it too. Lord, let's get back to shore, shall we?
Sure.
Sort of sits back, sort of huddled in his blanket, mumbling to himself once more. This time, a lot quieter, trying to sort of speak to himself. Anything anyone would like to do at this stage?
Just take it easy until we get back to the camp, I think.
Take it easy, yeah. You sort of sit back, relax. Moraine sort of explains the brief journey she's been on from Lone Hill.
I'll tell her that she's not in any trouble with the Talons anymore.
Oh, yeah. She thanks you, obviously. I'm pretty sure you sent word to her telling her she wasn't in any trouble anymore.
But either way.
Either way, she thanks you maybe again, and sort of explains very, very briefly. She's been moved up in the ranks. I'm now a diviner for Lord Partridge, the mayor of Lone Hill. I have myself a somewhat job anyway. If only briefly. I don't plan on staying here long, still waiting on my true purpose. I won't prattle on about that anymore. You've had a lifetime of hearing about that, Gylndan. I've prepared tents for you all for when you arrive back at the camp. They didn't really believe you were coming back, but I managed to have one prepared, although it is of a former party that sadly went into the tower. It should work just as well. 4 beds. It should be okay. You all look like you could do with some rest, I think.
Amen.
The general might want a word when we get back to shore, but he seemed very skeptical that anyone would return. I'd be careful of him. Definitely be careful of him. And after a couple of more minutes of the men sort of rowing, you make it back to shore. Meeting you on the shore is the general, this half-elf general with very elaborate, very elaborate sort of armor, a red cloak sort of huddled over him to protect from the somewhat light wind that's sort of breezing over. And he's sort of like, oh, so you all made it back?
We told you we would.
How? What the hell happened to that? I mean, you all look like death. What's going on? Where the hell did he come from? He's been gone for days. What the? Pointing towards the Dorvik next to you.
No idea about him.
General.
Yes.
We have some stuff to discuss. However, I'm sure you would allow our group to rest up before we discuss it.
Yeah, sure. Whatever. Rest up. Listen here. I want guards outside their tent. All through the night. These lads can't go anywhere. I need to figure out what's going on. He turns away very, very dramatically, sort of furling his cape, and walks back towards a much larger tent you can see in the distance.
My
Moraine
man thinks a couple of guards are going to do anything. We just sit down the tower.
Moraine walks you back to your tent. And as you pass through the camp, you see a lot of familiar faces. Faces of men that you saved back up in Northgard. The men made it. They were here to protect the people. A lot of them begin a much larger applause. A much, much larger applause as you all pass through the camp. Oramis's ego goes off like a goddamn cannon. And eventually you make it back to your tent. Moraine just sort of looks at you. What's that all about? You'll have gained somewhat of a following, I see.
We're kind of a big deal.
Northgard, yeah.
Northgard, with the... I'd heard stories of a group there. That Gylndan, that was you. You
Not all me.
Very little
Well,
Gylndan, to be honest.
No, Gylndan did too much, I'd say.
Little OTT.
Glyndon's
Why?
choices were questionable.
I think I just got the wrong contract. I thought I was in the Bang Bang group.
Why does that not surprise me at all?
Hey, Rain, I've just had a life-threatening experience. Cardiac attitude.
I know. I apologize. Now is probably not a time for jokes. It's I will have some food brought to the tent. Mine is the small one, just a couple of couple of tents over. I think I'll be getting some rest too. You boys take care. I will have that food brought over right away. She ushers you into the tent, which is a pretty basic sort of tent setup. It's got these sort of makeshift beds with sort of straw and some hide laid over on these sort of wooden slats that are raised up by like boxes underneath. Like a couple of like woven blankets that she's managed to find. None of them like fit over your body fully, but they're much better than anything else you've had for a little while. Well, actually, a couple of days ago since you were in the capital. And you can all finally regain all your spell slots, do all that shit, if you would like to take a long rest.
What sort of time is it, Ben?
Right now, when she sets you down, it's probably around 7 or 8 o'clock in the evening. You got there
so we'll
about
sleep into the
4
morning.
or 5, and you took like 2 short rests, did a lot of stuff, which took about an hour. Actually, no, I'd probably say no, it's like 9 o'clock now, it's probably dark. You were probably doing a lot of this under the sort of light torches and things. Yeah, so you are now able to, have have a short rest, sleep through the night.
Oh.
And as you settle down, you can hear guards come outside the tent, and there are a lot of them. A questionable amount of guards are now outside your tent. I won't even make you roll thing for it because they're wearing heavy armor. They're wearing heavy armor. They are not very quiet about themselves. Supposedly the tower's been completed. Nothing has spawned in a couple of hours. Men are beginning to now celebrate, thinking, "Holy fuck! They actually did it." Nothing has spawned in 2-3 hours. Oh my god! They might have actually done it. Don't be so. Come on, give it a couple of days, maybe. Maybe tower's still up. God knows what that means. Yeah. Well, I guess we'll see.
Have you tried
Two of
shooting
the-
it with cannons again?
Maybe.
You tried to.
Yes, you can all rest up, regain the spell slots,
Right.
and
So
all that jazz.
we know that the guards are standing outside, right?
I would
Yeah.
say you would know they're standing outside. You can hear a lot of them walk up.
Can I walk outside the tent?
Yeah. You walk outside the tent. What are you doing when you walk out?
Having a big stretch, say, "It's a beautiful evening, lads. What are you doing here?"
We're just following orders, mate. Don't
make it personal.
Wait. We're on your side. That general's just a bit paranoid. Is all. He's always been like this. Don't think too much into it. We're just here because we're told to be here. Don't worry, you lads are good in our books. These two are actually in Northgard. Two of them next to each other just sort of nod, raise their caps. Thank you again.
Shoot him the old finger gun and a wink. No problem.
You settle down for a quiet night. We'll make sure to grab some brekkie in the morning. Don't worry.
Cheers, boss man. I like my bacon crispy, yeah?
Well, the best we can do here is
Die of embarrassment.
not covered in mud and blood and sweat. But I'll be sure to get that along to the chef. And with that, you can take a long rest
Lovely.
and awake the next morning.
What is
Is there
anything?
anything?
Break. Yeah.
Yeah, that
Oh,
would be a
good break
pretty good break point. In which case, actually, does everyone want to? Oh, actually, we'll save it for next session. Never mind.
What?
I was going to say, does everyone want to real quick roll their hit die, and during the break I can copy in the new stuff that you guys get for level 9, because congratulations, you leveled up!
Whee.
Woo!
Dizzy heights.
Right.
Dizzying heights of level 9.
Uh,
That's right.
I can't hear you.
Aye,
Captain. Oh, who lives in a pineapple under the sea? SpongeBob SquarePants. Jordan Yellow and Forest is here. Anytime, Ben. I'm just filling up the
You want to do the
stream.
whole song now, Luke?
Literally 2 seconds.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
This is the perfect time to go back. We had a whole break, and now is the point he needs the bathroom, I assume. Anyway. So who are England playing on Saturday?
Ukraine.
Ukrainians.
Well, you put money on them winning that, but
Yeah, and then you.
Oh, that's dangerous talk.
Yeah.
JJ.
it's England, so...
Well,
anything can
if
happen.
we were to beat them, we're in the semi-final. We're either going to get the Czech Republic or Denmark.
I think
Sorry.
Denmark are tougher than people give them credit for.
Yes, but they're not exactly France, Spain.
I'd have taken playing France. Matt, I don't know if you watched them play, but
Yeah, I know, but they just have players that could just suddenly do something.
yeah. No.
I just realised my sneak attack at level 7 also goes up to 4d6.
Nice.
Aye.
So that's a
Um,
nice little bonus.
Do you?
The-
I'm going to ask JJ. Do you have a list of the spells that I could get for a level 5?
Go to... I will send you a link to D&D Beyond.
Thank you.
Well, I guess.
The Ukrainians played Sweden yesterday, and it went full extra time, so it was a long old game. So that's good for us.
I've
Yeah.
forgotten that Shevchenko is the Ukraine manager.
Yeah.
Honestly, I've not watched any Ukrainian Games. I've watched every game for the other team. I haven't watched any of the Ukrainian. I didn't even know he was a manager. No.
Yeah, I only knew because a couple of years ago I saw it as like a news article, like, oh, Shevchenko takes over as Ukraine manager, and then just literally not heard about it since.
Right, there you are.
All I know is he was in the stands watching the Champions League final
Legend.
with Abramovich. That's all I know.
Yeah, it was.
He's supposedly quite good friends with Abramovich. I don't know if friends is the right word, but quite close with him.
Good person to be close with.
Yeah.
I was looking through D&D Beyond today, and they've added some unearthed arcana spells that they're currently playtesting. One of them is a
Right.
laser spell called Flame Stride, which basically you set your own feet on fire, gain 20 feet of movement speed, and you can just run around next to people, burning them without provoking attacks of opportunity.
Oh no.
Isn't that a bit like the feature in COD Zombies on Infinite War, where you can slide and you leave a burning trail? It's like an
Yes.
ability to pick up, isn't it?
Yes.
I assume you're going for Mario.
Yes, socks.
So I'm looking through all of these, JJ, and I think you know what I'm going to go for.
The fiery one.
The fiery arrow.
Yeah, the flame arrows. Always good.
I think it was we kind of figured out the flame arrow was terrible
Oh, right.
because
Wrong
you
one.
only get a maximum of 12 shots,
Um,
and it's concentration, so you can't use Hunter's Mark and flame arrow. I think it was lightning arrow you wanted.
flame arrows duration 1 hour.
Yeah, but in the description it says the spell ends when 12 pieces of ammunition have been drawn from the quiver.
Oh, that's fair enough.
Tiki. It's a little tiki.
Yeah. So which one was it then?
Lightning arrow was the one you want, I think.
Oh, it just goes. I can't because it just goes to the player's handbook, and I have to purchase the player's handbook.
Well, if you just Google lightning arrow 5e, there are websites that will tell you. Or it should be in the compendium on Roll20. If it's a player's handbook spell. No, it is not. Well, that's bullshit.
Oh,
shit.
Call lightning, cane lightning, lightning bolt, and no lightning arrow. Our glorious DM has abandoned us.
I've drunk an entire beer waiting for him.
Is that because he's been slow, or because you're necking the beer, or a bit of both?
I mean, I did have a head start because I started when the break started. So
How many have you had one ready?
no, only one.
That's your first one.
Yeah.
Didn't last very long.
Saving up for the weekend.
Good lad.
I don't think you were here, Luke, but I've got when I got back, I said I've got a 24 pack of Peroni, which I can bring.
Nice. Love to see it. I've got a bottle of rum.
That's a sweet mix, that.
Which I'm bringing. Yeah. Oh, a shot of Peroni.
Luke, animal.
No, a shot of rum with my Peroni.
My 330.
It's going to be a mad one, lads.
Have you tried Captain Morgan's Tiki?
I haven't. I've seen it, and I keep wanting to pick it up, but I've never actually
Celebrate.
had it yet.
I had it in a cocktail. I think it's quite nice.
What flavour is it? Is it like pineapple?
Yeah, I think so.
Patty got me a pineapple rum for my birthday. It was, I think it's Red Tail or something it's called, but that's quite nice.
Bit of a weird one though, because I don't really know what to have it with.
Mango and pineapple is Tiki.
Oh, nice.
So probably quite similar to your Red Tail. That's a good name.
Very sorry about that.
You will be.
You ready to get back into it?
Let's go.
Let's go!
I think JJ might be ready, guys.
Think. Maybe.
I think
don't
he
know.
wants us to go. So I'm going to leave. So he goes,
Anyway.
Savage. Moving on.
Moving on. Are we a go, JJ?
Yes, we are a go.
Hello. Back once again from what has been a long break. We last half the section finished off the tower. You've all woken up. You've all leveled up. Good job. We'll sort out spells and stuff sort of next session. But for now, treat it as an additional spell slot, I guess, and some extra health and a proficiency bonus upgrade. Look at that. And you wake up in the tent. Well, you don't really wake up. Rather, you're woken up. And as you wake up, you guys are, you're probably very, very sore. You are, bruised like Doc and Gylndan. You can both feel the areas where the acid sort of burned away your skin, downed you. Yeah, you're all probably very, very sore, very, very achy, a little bit bruised in the morning. But you are able to sort of, scramble to your feet, and you can just say, "Oi, lads! General wants you. Follow us." And you're led towards his tent. Now, a lot of the guards and stuff you can see are packing up a lot of the tents. It seems like overnight nothing has happened, so a lot of guards are being allowed their leave. You head along this sort of row of a lot of tents and stuff of soldiers now a bit preoccupied, but some of them do sort of look over at you a little bit cautious. And as you're walking, the guards around you increase in number. More and more begin to sort of join the flank around you. And you are led into the tent. It seems Dorvik has been asked to come here as well. The general stands by a large sort of table with a map of the lake sort of around it. Different sort of little tokens and icons of stuff around as to, unit placements and things like that. And he's standing and he stares at you all when you come in. Alright. You wanted to talk. Come on, let's talk. What happened in that goddamn tower? And how did you a lot make it out?
We destroyed the source of the magic, spawning all the demons.
And what was it in the end?
That's a need-to-know basis.
I need to fucking know, boy. Shut your mouth.
Oh, finally, someone taking Oramis down a peg.
It was a big crystal.
A crystal.
Big, about sort of yay big, black, filled with sort of necrotic energies.
Shiny.
Interesting.
We destroyed it, but it may have come at a cost.
What cost? What the hell have you all done now?
Have you ever heard of the priests of Tiamat?
What the who the hell's Tiamat?
Oh, don't worry about it then. That's cool.
No, what the hell is going on? We have had the goddamn Kingsguard, the best warriors currently in Ambyr, go up there and take on that thing.
Sorry.
Yet you, a ragtag bunch of adventurers,
Second
a bunch of
best
random
warriors.
assholes come along and are allowed to finish it. Not only do you guys come along, apparently you guys are the only ones that can finish it. A word from whoever lived in the tower said that only you lot could finish it. That's what you told me. You were the guardians. Explain yourselves.
I mean, first of all, no one technically lives in the tower.
Well, my man here says different. He points towards Dorvik, and Dorvik stands there now a lot more proud. He's clearly now had time to sort of prepare himself for the day. He's got a new set of vestments on, a new set of robes. He's got his sort of long white hair sort of tied up. You can tell he's even put like a little bit of sort of makeup on his face to hide some of the scars and bruises around him. And he's looking very, very high and poncy, the traditional sort of high elf look. He's like, I now remember what that dream was about. I saw you all talking with a woman. You seemed to know her and she seemed to know you. Like she was expecting you.
Because she invited us.
Care to explain yourselves?
We've had some dealings with this lady before.
And you didn't think maybe anyone official would want to know anything about this because of stuff like this happening?
I mean,
Am I the only
we've
one
spoken
seeing
to
this
a lot
for what
of
it
people.
really goddamn is?
Spoken to Councilman
Hamish
Hamish
and Ivan.
and Ivan, General Daviak, who's much better than you, just by the way. We tried to get an audience with the king, but he wouldn't see us.
King won't see anyone. The general at this point just sort of like that. Back to the matter at hand. I do find it a little strange that only you could complete the tower. You lot that been earning so much fame ever. If you say you knew something, why didn't you come to us before the tower? Before all this happened?
Oh, hang on. We've tried to run this up the flagpole, and we were dismissed.
After the fact.
So we took matters in our own hands and dealt with it. I don't think you have a counter argument for that, do you?
I do.
Just let me think of it.
It's that this was all a goddamn setup. Ambyr in the clutches of a war. First war Ambyr's been in for years and years. And then suddenly a tower appears, and only adventurers can come after it. Kingsguard? No, they had to be taken care of. would be too easy. Other soldiers and guards know only one group of people can come. Now, they watched by. They let it sit for a few weeks. A couple of demons spawning, killing a lot of people, putting the entire country into chaos. And then, and only then, when we were in our most dire need, did you decide, okay, yeah, now let's finish this off and have our name written into the history books forever.
No.
Does that sound familiar?
We held off coming here because we didn't know what challenge had awaited us. We had to
ended
get some
the
more
conflict
experience.
in Northgard,
Yeah,
saving
exactly.
thousands of lives, saving thousands of your troops from death.
At this point, one of the guards, sort of like inside the room, like, sir, that is true. They did save Northgard. He just raised up his hand. Look, I don't trust any of you. Something greater is going on here. You're not telling us something. How did you even find out about all this in the first place?
It's called
So
Red
what
Come
What
In.
incident might have happened that led you to foresee some? Okay, let's believe your theory. This god came up and
We didn't say
assembled a
anything about
tower. When you said priests of someone, I'm assuming that means priests of a god. You're a cleric. I thought you would know this kind of thing.
He's
Oh,
got you there, Doc. Yeah, it's got you by the balls.
I was going to say, we saw it through this, and I'll just tap the eye on my forehead.
Little tattoo on a wizard's forehead.
Gylndan is one of the greatest divination wizards in the land, and you were due to show him some respect.
Boy!
Respect to divination
Respect,
wizard.
man. Respect.
That rarely ever comes without some kind of price. Not these days. Look, you make good
Have we
points.
asked anything of you, General? Have we made any demands? Have we requested
No.
anything other than access to the tower to fix this problem? Have we asked for anything from the people of Northgard? Have we demanded any reward or recompense? We haven't asked for anything. We have just done what we can.
Which, by the way, some of that might be nice. However, Doc has a
my
point.
God, the finger.
The sass is on point today, by the way. At this point, the general sort of looks towards Dorvik, and Dorvik looks at him. And then he looks back at you and says, look, I'll have it known here and now I don't trust any of you, like I've said, and I do believe there is something greater going on, and I am keen to find out what it is. But you make good points. I have no evidence, but I will get some. Sorcerer, I'm assuming you can help me with this fact. The sorcerer, Dorvik, now just like intently staring at you all like, yes, there's something to these men that is troublesome. And they share a glance briefly and he goes, were I to have it my way, I would arrest you right now and have you interrogated, but I feel like that might upset some of my soldiers. Glancing over towards the guard in the corner who has his hand on his scabbard as they were sort of insulting you.
General, you're a diplomatic man. I think you can see that we hold a number of the cards. And it's often the people who decide things. Be careful who you make an enemy of. An enemy of the people is not in power for long.
Well, all this coming from an exile. Whatever.
Listen,
Yes,
General.
in exile,
You
I
can...
serve the whole of Ambyr, even if my clan has cast me out.
Right, you can all go. You can all leave and do whatever the hell you wish, but know this. I will be watching. I don't give a shit if you have a general's bloody brother on your side. Or whoever the hell you might be. I don't care if you have these soldiers on the side. People will see you for who you really are.
Yeah,
One of
they
these
will.
days.
They will.
out of my sight. And he turns around, and him and Dorvik just sort of walk together and just begin to sort of speak in sort of very hushed tones. Dorvik now getting really, really pissed off at the general, to which he just suddenly screams out, "Just have them arrested, man! Jesus!" And he turns around and storms.
For that big man.
And he suddenly just turns around and storms out of the tent, just like completely, flaps the thing away, and you can hear him in quite heavy footsteps walking off somewhere. You have no idea where he's gone.
What's this general's name, by the way?
You did. You actually never. You never actually asked this.
General Duché?
General Panrill.
General what?
Panrill.
Panray.
Panrill. Panryl.
I'll wait until we see this general again so we can clean up his mess for the second time.
General Duché. Hello there. You are escorted by a couple of guards outside the tent. Moraine sort of stood outside, like I heard what was, I heard what was said. For the record, I don't believe a word. You boys are damn heroes in most people's eyes. Don't listen to them. But I think we'd better make ourselves scarce.
Wise words, Moraine.
Yes. Should we maybe get going? Someone told me you have an elephant in the stables, Gylndan.
Yeah. It's the other leading lady in my life.
Consider me a leading lady.
Oh, fuck.
Okay.
All
All right.
Bollocks.
She freezes? No, I've frozen.
She blushes very, very bright red, looking down like anyway. Yes, we should. I think we should make ourselves scarce.
Just quickly, lads.
Come on. She leads you off.
Where are we going? Because we're in a huddle. There's no one hearing this, right?
No, you guys are like outside the tent now. There's a couple of guards around, but
Yeah.
as you can probably tell now, like most of the soldiers seem to be on your side. It's the higher ups that are sort of against you a little bit.
Where are we going to go? Because I think we've got to chase these orbs, but at the same time we've also sent Oramis's boat and crew round to the Shattered Coast.
How long have we got before they get to the Shattered Coast? It was about 2 weeks or something, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And we're eating up about 3 days at this point or something?
Yeah. This is probably a good time to have this conversation, actually. So, yes, you guys can go chasing the orbs all you would like. That is, if you probably made a decent guess, that is the direction the main story arc is somewhat going toward. You can go towards any of these orbs you like. It's up to you. First thing I'll say is that, yeah, like I said, you can go and check them out, of course. But if you decide that, if you decide that you would like to pursue some other stuff, not that your characters would know this, but I'm saying this as players so that you can try and plan the stuff that your characters might want to do. Something will happen that will make you go to one of these orbs in a couple of weeks. Thereby, if you guys really did want to do some of your own stuff, like I know Sam, you've got some stuff you might want to do. You've all got.
What town was that in again?
Thing.
Ben.
What?
What was it near?
It was near. You know that it's somewhere in the north of the west eastern mountains. So north of the Hawksmoor Mountains. Well, in the mountains somewhere north.
Okay, just north of Hawksmoor.
Yeah, just north of Hawksmoor in the mountains somewhere.
Okay.
Only certain people know where it is.
Well, I'll just say I've also got some business over towards the Shattered Coast, so I would suggest we start with the northern orb, or the orb that fled north.
We don't know how far north it
I will have my vengeance.
No, but we could find, if we're going to the Shattered Coast, we could ask about the orb, and if it's within our range, possibly
So hang on.
divert
So
to do that.
You
The
can-
tower is here. Yeah.
So the
On this
tower
lake.
is here on
Yeah.
this lake, yes.
So if
It went completely north, very,
maybe
very
not
much
then.
completely north
if
up there.
if 2 went southeast, so if we commit a week to finding some signs of them, we can maybe head that way and potentially pick up Gylndan's thing on the way. We head in a vaguely southeastwards direction, and then we've sort of got a 50% chance of finding at least one of them.
Another thing I was
going
going to say,
southeast.
And if we don't find anything in a week, we go meet the crew on the Shattered Shore, deal with that, and then see if any more signs are more obvious.
is obviously this orb has gone north by now. You can probably assume it's reached its destination, which has caused a bit of a ruckus with the army that's still left in the north and General Daviak and your alternate characters. So let me know whenever you guys want to go to the north one, and we can do another little one-shot with your alternate characters if you would
With
like
that,
investigating some of that.
has that orb immediately had an impact on that group, or would it be like the orb goes somewhere and then
That would have had an almost immediate impact.
So
well,
that'd be
in the
session quite soon, then.
in the next couple of days. In the next couple of days. So, say for example, you guys decided to journey up there. We would then sort of say, so if you guys decided to journey up there now, it would take about 4 to 5 days journey. We would then revert time back like 2 days, 3 days, to the other group and see how they have reacted to what's happened, this orb flying over and potentially stuff happening.
Okay, so from like a game perspective, it kind of makes a little bit more sense maybe if we head to one of these ones in the south and sort of maybe leave the north group alone for like a little bit. Okay.
there's more jazz in the south?
Yeah.
Also, the Shadow Coast is a bit further. Well, it's not really as north as I thought it was.
Yeah, it's only slightly north of where we are.
Yeah, that would still be a journey through and or around the northeastern mountains near Evanmouth to try and sort of head up somewhere there.
Ben,
yes.
it's too much option. How dare you?
I know, right? This was... So when I was originally saying that this campaign was very much going to be you guys exploring and adventuring and doing what you wanted, congratulations, you've got to that bit. You guys now have Amber at your fingertips. You have a couple of options as to where to go in terms of the main story, but you also... Some of you might have some side bits you want to achieve, some little things you would like to do. I'm happy to run like one-shots like Sam if you wanted to sort of go off and do your one. I know you were skeptical about whether anyone would sort of go with you or not, whether you wanted to sort of venture that alone. I'm happy to do like a one-shot with you for that at some point.
Ooh, options.
Same with sort of Oramis's one. If Oramis decided, no, this must be a thing I do alone, you can do that.
I'll be so down for being a pirate for Mrs. One.
Against me?
Oh no,
Which
four.
one would you which one?
Which one of his
member
crew would it be? Dunno.
Frank?
Mason?
Yeah, you got to take Mason. You got to take Frank. You know they've got your back.
I'll be brilliant.
I think there's something quite ironic about Frank fighting the ghost gull.
The Skull.
Yeah, I'll be down for that.
Yeah, so this is definitely where a few more options come into play.
Like I said, you have like a couple of weeks before something might happen that might push you in a certain direction, maybe. Otherwise, things are at your fingertips. And even then, you know, like something might happen, but you might be like, well, no, we were going to go here first. Guess you just have to wait and see. So it does give the opportunity for you guys to do what you want a little bit.
You've done the grand aspect of this quite well.
Thank you. I
That's
was
alright.
hoping that would...
I really thought that tower was going to be a final-ish thing, but it's like we've literally just stoked a fire.
I did. So me and Sam were messaging a little while back, and I did mention that it was going to be long. And the way you were messaging me, you were definitely sort of seemed like you had it fixed in your mind that, okay, once this whole thing with Tiamat is done, like assuming that you would fight Tiamat in the tower. No,
I didn't think we were going to fight her, but I thought maybe like a shade of her or something. But
maybe, yeah.
which
Well,
I guess a shade of her was there, but we just didn't fight it.
But no, it does seem that Tiamat has released some of her priests, the fifth one being V, who you killed last year. So you're already making your way through them.
So their orbs, are they gonna, when they like land or whatever, do they then turn into people, or do they take over people?
You'll have to find out, won't you?
Interesting.
Juicy.
A juicy indeed. So, what is your plan right now? You are in the middle of a camp, discussing where you're going to go. I know Doc said he might want to go back to the capital because it's the closest place you can maybe get some armor.
That's a good point, actually. You need
I know.
equipment fixing.
Yeah.
I know that you guys also did want to go places. Remember that just because there's like big cities here, as you guys have seen mainly in the last campaign and this one, there are smaller villages that might be able to help you out with blacksmiths and that sort of stuff.
Could go through Inksworth.
Yeah, just from like general stores. Can I get just like a new shield from the army, like general supply?
Yeah. As you sort of pass, as you're.
You mean the guy we just
by?
the guy we just fucked off?
Not necessarily the general, but sort of
thinking
as you
going
guys
slightly behind his back to.
That's
pick up a
fair.
new
That's
shield.
fair.
Whenever you guys are sort of leaving, you begin to pass the very, very crude blacksmith that they have, which mainly just makes swords, axes, shields, chainmail armor. That is it. Maybe some leather armor scraps. That is about it. So yeah, you can pick up. It's a fairly crude shield. It's similar to your last one in shape, but it's mainly made of like this reinforced wood with a thin sort of metal lining around the edge, whereas your previous one was a bit more bulky. It has the same effects and stats and stuff. It just doesn't have the history, man. It doesn't have the history.
It's not the same. It just doesn't feel right on my arm.
Yeah.
While Doc's doing this, can I just be this is completely irrelevant, I guess, just be among the soldiers and kind of being a man of the people.
Lacking
Man
up
of the
the
people with his many statues, Oramis.
Yes, exactly.
I think you mean
you're
financed by the people.
Yeah.
yeah, you're definitely.
What
I was going to suggest we go through Inksworth
To
to
Stonemasons.
fix all your stuff, but we do also, we earn a lot of money there.
I'm very
That's
busy. I don't know.
a strong use of the we word for money.
Hey,
fair.
we've got a squad kitty, and as Gylndan mentioned at the top of the tower, we are a unit. We do things together.
Oh, you're a piece of shit. I'm tempted to let you go fight the Phantom Hand or whatever it was called, just so you can
Hallow Hand.
teach the Hallow Hand, just so you can teach you a lesson.
Captain Hallow Hand.
Boy,
What about Mazzy? What's Mazzy's plan?
Undecided right now, but
go back to the kids at home, see the wife.
Did you have a family? Was that part of your year out?
No, it wasn't.
no, we didn't. No.
That'd have been a very quick turnaround.
Yeah,
That would have been a very, very
Exactly. Very small
That
kids.
is, you
The drunk one
can
night stand,
definitely,
and Mazzy's now got parental responsibilities.
and a wife. I wonder why.
Why do you think he's so cautious with his arrows? He's got to pay money for child support.
The doctor's bills are expensive, you get injured.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Good thing he knows a doctor, really.
pick things back up a little bit. So Oramis, you're sort of talking amongst the men. A lot of them are very happy to see they're asking a lot of questions, because from what these guys have seen and what you've heard, there have been more demons and stuff than you could have even thought of coming out of the lake. It seems that a lot of them spawned within the lake the ones that can't fly and weren't spawned in the air, spawned in the lake, and then like every day they would sort of march up, or they would like be in different shifts, and they would sort of ready themselves at the edge of the lake, and then this horde of stuff would just come at them, and they would end up fighting just on this sort of beach of this lake. And then that would happen, and then they'd sort of rest for a couple of hours and then get ready to do it again as soon as they sort of heard or saw that stuff was there. They're asking a lot of questions, some of them about Lone Hill, some about Inksworth, some about a lot of the different stuff you've done. Doc, you head over to the armory, grab that shield. Like I said, the blacksmith gives you like a good nod as you're leaving. A half orc himself. He's pretty. He definitely respects what you guys have done. Acknowledges that he has family in Inksworth, so he's very happy and you sort of helped out with that kind of thing. Anyone else doing anything else, or are you getting ready to go somewhere?
Since I'm with Moraine,
yes.
Could I cast the divination spell, but could I get it with advantage because I'm doing it with her?
I will say you can add her proficiency bonus onto your proficiency bonus, so that would give you a +8 plus your wisdom score. No, +9, because her proficiency bonus is +5.
So it's my roll +9, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Is it just a d20 that I roll?
It is it's a wisdom check. Wisdom saving throw. That's it.
Oh no, I've got to get a 13.
Now it's 12 because your proficiency bonus has gone up.
Okay.
Definitely.
So I probably should have said this before I pass. If we pursue the orbs that went southeast, what will we find?
Southeast.
That was where the 2 went, wasn't it?
It is.
The purple and the white?
Yes. So you suddenly find yourself once again in this sort of bird-like trance, where you're seeing from the perspective of a bird flying over, and as you sort of pass over the mountains, you can see the reflection of the shadow of the sun. You appear to be this sort of owl as you pass over and swoop down, and in the distance you see the mighty city of Hawksmoor. Hawksmoor being a very, very regal, very, very structured city. You seem to pass over, and very, very quickly your eyes turn to a drow. A drow with purple eyes, looking very, very pissed off for some sort of reason. And then you swoop into a crack beneath a mountain, and you suddenly find yourself in this. Huge chasm, this massive megalithic cave that just seems to stretch on for miles and miles and miles. Spiders crawling over the walls. Strange creatures down below. An army of what look like elves or something marching beneath. Maybe drow too, now that you sort of second glance. That was the purple, as your sort of vision almost has this purple hue, and now you sort of swoop back through a crack, and suddenly your vision sort of blasts white, and then very, very dark. We see dark caves, dark walls, inscriptions of a very methodic, almost scientific and arcane nature. You pass much more slowly through these caves and eventually find yourself coming out into amber, but not amber. It is the same scene that you've seen before, the mountains, Hawksmoor, the forests beneath, but there is darkness. All the trees that you saw are gone. Hawksmoor itself abandoned, destroyed. And it definitely feels like in both situations, in both the chasm that you were in before with the purple orb, and in this bit with this orb now, you're not in the material plane anymore. The vision blinks briefly, in and out, you suddenly sort of come from the owl's perspective, looking now at the owl as it just swoops down. You open your eyes, and you're back sat in the tent. Moraine sort of has a hand on you, aiding you with the vision.
I'd stop doing these. They're fucking terrifying.
Slightly.
I'm afraid of the negatives.
Afraid of what's it called? Is it the Underdark?
It sounded like the Underdark from a meta perspective.
That's scary.
I will say that the Underdark in my version is a little different to a lot of other people's versions of the Underdark, mainly because if you can't tell from that, it's not on this plane. I like to think of the Underdark as an entirely different plane of just chasms. And
Is it in the Upside Down?
Not really. So the Underdark for Luke and Matt, who I'm assuming haven't really looked into it, the Underdark is in traditional D&D like these monolithic chasms underneath the earth where the Drow have come from, and they have made cities and they take slaves from the above world and stuff like that. In this world, it's a little bit different, and in this world, not many of you know. You might have heard the phrase Underdark, or you might have heard, like rumors and stuff of that's where the Drow come from and stuff like that, but no one has, as far as you know, it is a place of fantasy. No one's been there, no one's ever seen it. It's a place of myth.
Okay.
Complete legend.
And the Drow, are they the Dark Elves?
Yeah, Drow are dark elves. They have dark sort of purple skin.
In a simple term.
Yeah. They are creepy fuckers.
Relay that to the rest of the group that our pursuits of the purple orb will take us to Hawksmoor. Or involve Hawksmoor in some fashion.
That's not so good for me. Can we go elsewhere? Thanks. Okay. Yeah, that's not great for me. Awful.
Why?
Something banished? Something?
You've been banished from Hawksmoor?
Possibly.
How long ago?
Like 10 years?
Oh, I don't think they'll remember you.
We also have quite long memories. We live quite a while.
Well,
Also,
your duty as a guardian kind of oversees this, surely.
this one is a bit of a problem.
Okay, I'm just going to turn you invisible the whole time in Hawksmoor. Deal?
Sounds good.
Sounds delightful. I just can't cast any spells or attack anyone.
You can with great invisibility,
Yeah, that's true.
which doesn't last very long.
That's like an hour, isn't it?
I don't think it's that. Let's have a looky.
Who knows? So as you guys are sort of doing this stuff, as you're relaying this to the group, you're now met up a little bit between a couple of tents. A couple of the captains around are sort of looking at you a little bit funny, like, why haven't they left yet? What's keeping them?
Because we're still kind of fucking injured, man. It was less than 24 hours ago and some of us were nearly dead. Would you expect the man who broke his leg to run the next day? I think not, sir.
And you're you're talking to each other and stuff, and you suddenly from behind you just say this, psst, psst, hey! Make a perception check.
You go on character taint.
You what, sorry? Perception check.
Perception.
Cool.
Oramis is too busy basking in his newfound glory amongst the soldiers. Yeah, the rest of you are fairly perceptive. Glyndon is too busy sort of thinking about this vision, but Doc and Mazzy sort of tap the others on the shoulder and turn around. You can see between a couple of tents there is a soldier. He's laying low, being very, very bad at stealth, and you can tell he's trying way too hard. And he's like, "Over here, with me, come on, quickly, come on. Play along. Come on. Do you follow?
Act natural and follow me.
Yeah.
So, for those of you who follow him along, he's like,
What's
just play along. Some of the higher ups don't want you here anymore. Just come on. Yes, you can see Captain Titan, but unfortunately, I think he died yesterday. Play.
Oh yes, Captain Titan. What a fellow! Unfortunately, died yesterday.
That is tragic news to hear. I am much saddened at this news.
You guys suck at lying.
Roll performance checks,
Oh, fuck!
gentlemen.
Nice.
The old -2 coming up. Oh, that's I mean, it would have been a 6 anyway, so...
Yeah, so you're being really, really bad. You're definitely now like drawing a lot of eyes towards you. Like, what's going on? One captain in particular just begins to sort of walk up to your group. Soldier, are you aware these lot are under the general to fucking leave? Yes, sir. They just wanted to see Captain Titan. Man with a brilliant surname. They just wanted to see him, and then they promised that they'd be on their way. Yeah, guys.
Yep, we will be on our way after we've seen Captain Titan, who I've heard is dead, which is shame. Good fellow.
Roll deception.
No.
Anyone can help out at this point.
Oramis,
Alright
Mr.
then. Alright then.
I like for a living.
Oh!
Oh, come on. I've liked
I will
that
say
game.
Oramis's attempts at helping you fail. Oramis just sort of comes up like, they were talking about Captain Titan. He really did die yesterday, and Glyn just very hard elbow to the stomach. No, yeah, Captain Titan. We saw him this morning. He said he wanted to talk to us. We'll just speak to him, and then we'll be on the way. And the captain's like, all right, just get them out of here. Keep them away from the tent. You know the one I want about. Yes, sure thing. Sure thing, Captain. Yeah, bye now. Come
What
on.
tent was he talking about?
Follow
You've
him.
all got to be better than this. Plods along. Can everyone make another performance check for me, please?
Is that Captain Titan? We've been looking for you. Good fellow.
You are joking me with that.
Luke, I thought you I don't know, good at all this stuff.
The experience of the
Oh,
past few days has
lordy.
really got to me.
Fuzzy
I've
wit.
got -2, but I've still only rolled a 6 and a 7, so I can't really complain.
Once
Mazzy,
again,
we are
you
flanked
guys
by
are-
amateurs.
I mean,
Once again, you guys are drawing a little bit of a crowd. However,
Well, of course.
well,
Pretty
not
famous.
necessarily a little bit of a crowd, but eyes are definitely being drawn as to sort of like the balls on these guys, kicked out by the general, but just strolling by.
I think technically he only just kicked us out of the tent.
Oh no, he meant to kick you out of the camp. He
I didn't make that specific.
Get the hell out of here.
Get it in writing.
No, technically not.
Well, then it's not official.
a lot
but-
of people are looking your way. Again, like a captain, sort of look. A man you can assume is a captain looks your way, but then the guy at the front gives a very, very obvious at him, and suddenly there comes up. Oh, yeah. and he leads you around in amongst a load of random tents to this small one in the midst of a sort of huddle of smaller sort of put up little triangular tents. He's like, 2 guards are outside, these 2 guards wearing quite heavy armor, and they both sort of look at the rest of you and they're like, what are these lot doing here? Weird, they were meant to leave. No, they're here to see Captain Titan. One guard then opens his hand. After, like, he lets go of his long sword and just opens his hand very, very discreetly. He's like, oh, fuck up. Lads, I need 10 gold a person.
10 gold a person? What, buddy?
Yeah. Inside check, go for it.
What is this? Getting fucking conned
You
by
can
some soldiers.
you can tell this guy is too bad an actor to con you, and he seems quite excited. And he's like, given the how a lot of the higher ups have reacted to you guys, this guy trying to sort of play things cool means that something's definitely going on. But he's very, very excited by what's sort of
buddy
coming. Keep your voice down,
buddy.
Yes.
What are we paying for here?
You'll see inside the tent.
You've not answered my question.
Can I ask him why it's 10 gold and can we negotiate the price?
No, there's some. Everybody down. Every down. And he sort of crouches down, now sort of squatting, just like you can see his helmet sort of poking up above a lot of the tents, but he's now sort of like huddled down, like, get down here. Down, come on. Come on. And if all of you crouch down with it, okay, I'm going to be straight with you guys. A lot of adventuring parties have come through here and died really, really, really badly. But they've left a lot of really interesting shit.
10 gold.
Now, we're not meant to go in there. The general wants to sell it all off to pay stuff. I don't really know. And to, let a lot of the higher ups have first dibs on things, but some of the soldiers have been sneaking in and taking stuff. Now, a couple of us got together last night and thought that we should keep some stuff for you, some magic bits and bobs that we didn't really know what to do with.
Say no more. I'll slap 10 gold in this man's hand.
10 gold.
That's fine.
You take off 10 gold.
He's up 40 gold.
He takes this little thing and he's sort of very, very still squatting down, by the way, sort of like squats down up to the guard with his hand out. Here you go. You really are an idiot, aren't you?
Oh, it's a bribe.
Yeah. Come on, let us in.
Hilarious.
The guard weighs the gold in his hand, opens up a small sort of pouch in his thing, puts it in, undoes a small sort of knot in the very, very sort of limp knot in the furls of the tent. He's like, get in and be snappy about it, all right? Eyes on these blokes everywhere. They're not the best bloody actors in the world. And you are allowed in.
Right.
You have to crawl into this small tent. However,
Why are we crawling?
because like I said, it's just a small tent. It looks exactly like every other tent. It's small and it's fit for one person. But as you crawl in, you suddenly emerge in quite a big room, about 20 feet by 20 feet. Gylndan don't see shit. You look around and see either side of you a lot of sort of put-me-up, sort of very, very crudely made shelves that have been completely wiped out. When this guy said that a lot of the stuff was already taken by soldiers, he really meant it. No one was subtle about this. A lot of stuff was taken. But a few things are still available. First up, at the very
Shopping
back of the room,
montage.
First up at the back of the room hangs a quiver. Seems like a normal quiver, a bit smaller than yours, Mazzy. You think it could hold
I'll take
about
it.
20 gold, but there is something definitely a little strange and definitely somewhat magical about this quiver.
Can I investigate?
It's a little weird. You can investigate. Roll me a quick investigation check. Yes, you put on the, you grab the quiver, you sort of fasten it to yourself really quick, and you sort of like, well, this seems fine. You pull an arrow from it, seems okay. You put it back, and you're like, wait a minute. You pull another arrow from it, and the first arrow you pulled from it was just like a regular arrow, just like one. It was one of your arrows. You transferred your arrows over. The second arrow, however, is made entirely of glass. A small swirling liquid in its tip. You look it over. This is really weird. I've not really seen many things like this before. You've heard of arcane arrows, something that quite experienced hunters and things often use, but it's a little strange, and you put it back. They're like, wait a minute. I want to have another look at that. And you pull it out, and once again it is a regular arrow. It seems like this might be a thing that you have to take a little time, short rest, to tune to before you can figure out the mechanics of it, which we can get into a little bit, which I'll message you about through the week, and we can get into a little bit next session. But next up is a small little box. Inside this little box are two little dice. Just regular old dice. They definitely seem a little weird. The 1 on them is a little skull, and the 6 on them is a happy face. But like a, sort of like happy theatre's mask, but you can definitely tell there is something amiss about these dice. Gylndan, being proficient in Arcana, he can sort of tell the small little signs of illusion carved into the bottom corner, something that only others proficient in Arcana and sort of wizards might know. So there is definitely something illusory about this dice set.
Can I give him a little roll?
Yeah? What would you like the roll to say?
What would I like the roll to say? 1.
It rolls a 1.
Oh, I like these dice. Oramis, do you like these dice?
Maybe.
What other items are there? I don't want to
Exactly.
get myself to this and find the next one's a magical energy sword.
There is
He's already
a
got
small...
energy sword.
There is
better
another
one.
box. There's another small box. It looks like a jewellery box, and inside is a small necklace with a little amulet on the top. Again, Gylndan, being
shiny.
proficient in Arcana, you can tell that this definitely has some magical resonance, and it has a symbol of abjuration written on the front. Some sort of protective aura about this. Again, it seems like this might have to be the sort of thing that over a period of time sitting with the item, investigating it, you can learn its abilities, or you can take it somewhere and have it looked over. But definitely some
outside
sort of
characters, this sounds a lot like something that boosts your AC, which might have been a problem of mine during the last
that, Samuel, you will have to figure out
Okay.
at some point.
If we're going somewhere for you guys to get your armour and jazz fixed, then might as well take these and get them examined.
Yeah. The next one's a pair of boots. Again, definitely seeming very magical. They've got arcane symbols sort of all over them, some stuff about conjuration and stuff like that, and little wings sort of in the sort of leather have been sort of sewed into the side. Not like, like in just like a tiny little symbol of a wing, just like that big. And is anyone going to like put them on, try them on, or anything like that?
What size are they?
For whoever would put them on, they would mould to their foot size.
Oh.
Magic.
You know, in video again, I feel like we've got into like the cheat room that's got all the items that help boost you.
Slightly.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I mean,
So what's
sort
wrong?
of looking around, I'll investigate. Like, I'm assuming we're sort of like all looking around and we all sort of come over these things. So I'll sort of
Yeah, so
I like
you
my
can.
horse at the moment, but you know, I wouldn't be against replacing them if.
Yeah? You're wearing heavy armor, aren't you?
Yes.
You put these boots on and nothing happens.
Oh.
These are rubbish.
Hey, Doc. I'll try them on if you think they're rubbish.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Gylndan, you try them on. Again, they mold a little bit more to your feet.
They
And as you go to
shrink
take a
4 sizes.
And as you
I have tiny
go to-
feet. Wizards have tiny feet.
And as you go to take a step in them, you find that, you know, your step is a little lighter. And you're like, oh, these are kind of weird. And you're checking them out. And you, like, lift your foot up a little bit just to sort of have a look. And you stumble very, very briefly, as if to fall. And then you find yourself caught. You look down at the boots and you find a platform has been created from this green sort of mystical energy. This sort of strange sort of strange sort of energy, almost like when you cast your shield spell, that sort of thing. This platform has been created under your foot. You can push against it decently fine in midair.
Oh, these are cool.
To find out their full effects, you might have to get them investigated or something along those lines. Another small box, again with these 2 sort of bracelets inside. Just 2 little bracelets. They look quite nice. They look rather pretty. Again, magical aura. They wouldn't have been left in here if there wasn't some kind of magical sense about them. So anyone can sort of investigate those if they wish.
Yeah. Do we have to roll investigation, or can we just like go through these and?
Roll investigation. Both people that are putting them on. Okay, so Mazzy, you put the first one on, and Doc, you put the second one on, and you think, kind of stylish. Doc sort of rubs the top of his a little bit because the signature's sort of gone. And then Mazzy sort of, again, does the same thing, realizing, the signature's a little bit gone. And then suddenly, whoosh, they switch places.
Oh.
Pretty much that's all there is to them as a bonus action.
Mazzy and Doc switch places.
Mazzy and Doc completely
the ring bearers switch places.
I thought you just like, the rings swap on like the wrist and like.
No. The 2 people switch places. Essentially, what this is
a very useful trick.
So I assume both have to be wearing them at the same time. So
yeah, you both have to be wearing it at the same time. As a bonus action, someone can activate it. As the other person's reaction, they can accept the thing.
Okay.
And they switch. If the one with the reaction doesn't accept it, nothing happens. It's a bonus action wasted. So it's not like you could like put it on an enemy and then swap places with that enemy or whatever, you know. But yes, a little fun little thing.
Oh, yeah, you put it on an enemy, jump off
enemy, but then you'd lose the enemy.
and then swap. And they're like, bye.
Well, the enemy's got a consent there, isn't he?
That's obviously
Are you forcing it on the enemy?
No, they've got to consent to the like switching places probably.
But also, if you did that, you'd never be able to do it again because the enemy's now over wherever with your ring.
I mean, it depends what you push them off. If you push them off a house, then you can find their corpse quite easily. Push them off a cliff.
And finally, in yet another small little box, this one a lot smaller, is wrapped around these 2 little wraps. Very, very strange. You almost think they look like the wraps to a sort of like weapons handle. Kinda odd. Well, one of them looks like a weapons handle. The other one just looks like sort of tattered cotton wrap of some kind. Not a clue what these do. Someone can roll investigation, or Gylndan, you can roll Arcana because you're proficient in it. To somewhat see what they do. Oh damn! So Doc, you're sort of looking at these and you're thinking, these look kind of cool. So yeah, obviously it looks like that one goes around the weapon. And as you're sort of like, going to maybe put it on your hammer or whatever, you can definitely, as soon as you sort of get your hammer even near it, it almost seems like this thing wants to latch on, like almost like a magnet. Sort of, you can tell there is a pull there wanting to go towards your hammer. The other one sort of sits in its thing. Then Gylndan, you're sort of looking them over, and you can see a lot of these sort of symbols over them. It's hard to discern what type of magic they are, but there is definitely there is a bond between one and the other. There is a bond between the wrap and the bit of cloth.
Is one... I'm thinking this is something like to summon your weapon.
That's what I'm thinking. Can I take the other one and wrap it around my hand?
Yeah.
And then can I
turn yourself into Thor?
Put my hammer on the floor and then just be like, come on.
Yeah, you place your hammer on the floor, you sort of lift your thing up like, no bloody way. Hammer.
Oh, yes.
In your hands. Congratulations, your hammer is now a thrown weapon.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yes.
Wow,
How
how heavy is your hammer, by the way? Like, you're like...
For a in-game perspective, this can only be used on weapons that do not have the heavy or two-handed property, because the wrap is only for a one-handed weapon or versatile weapon. But if you're using it, obviously you can only throw it with one hand and catch it with one hand. It's not that sort of thing. You now have a throwing distance of 20/80. That's pretty much it. You can now throw your hammer, and so if you throw your hammer on your turn, or throw whatever weapon it is you're attaching it to, at the start of your next turn, it returns to you. So it's not like you throw it and it immediately comes back. It's like you throw it, it hits or misses or whatever, and then it sort of like will sort of slow down, and then the first thing that happens on your next turn, before you roll any saves, before you do anything, it returns.
Nice.
So when throwing it, maybe think about opportunity attacks and stuff like that. And it's only like 20 feet, so meh.
Okay, the rest of this stuff checked out.
And that seems to be the room. That does seem to be the room. The guy sort of looks you over like, well, you lads have done a lot for us boys up here, and we kind of thought we'd leave you a couple of things. I guess as a sort of thank you. Yeah. Thought it was, least we could do. Cheers, lads. See you later. He crawls out of the tent once more and leaves you all to your business. And that is also the DM saying, thank you, good job, you did. You have now completed a lot of the... you've completed some very big stuff, and in terms of being in Tiamat's tower, I thought, well, she wouldn't give you anything. No. And being in the north, I thought, well, I did say the orcs have sort of taken everything down and destroyed everything, so there's very little chance to find magic stuff. So...
joke, Luke got a ship.
That's that. Luke did get a ship.
Oh, I've got a spell that I can use on the ship if we're willing to pay 1,000 gold. That will stop it, any like celestial fiends or undead or anything like that being able to go on the ship.
Oh.
Right.
It also lasts
might be handy.
So we only have to pay it once unless it gets dispelled, but we can discuss that off.
That's pretty cool, but also might make it very boring.
Oramis loves adventure.
Also, yeah, I can probably get dispelled quite easily.
Well, it'll be
on there and then cast a spell magic on the ship or something. But if Tiamat sent
and then pass the
knights or
save
like that after us, they would.
I hate to break it to you, but you've just announced it on stream, so any villain that's watching the stream will know that we've
Oh yes,
Gonna
all
have
those
another
bullets.
Oh, all those baddie boos that have come and attack.
Yes.
Not to think that JJ's 10 views a week are Tiamat, Venetius, the four priests.
And
Lazarus.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot about him. He's small time now. We don't deal with that.
You just.
I'd like you to do a little session where you just show us that he's been following us this whole time and just never quite caught us.
I mean, you guys. Here's the thing: you guys don't know what Lazarus is up to.
I mean,
Probably-
to be fair, last time we met up with his little vampire boys, it weren't exactly easy.
No.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Then again, there was 3 of you versus 2 of them, and some unlucky stuff occurred in terms of turn undead.
Turn
undead,
stake in
nope.
one, so which dealt damage every turn, and then I cast. I used my thing to turn undead to make, and one of them ran away. But the one that ran away was the one that was a stake in it, so immediately took damage, and the effect ended. I'm still not over it.
Twas rather funny.
Still not over it.
Twas rather funny.
Which one went first? Did you call the? Did you cast it? Or did I
You left it in him, I think.
Yeah.
So who's really at fault here?
Well, because it worked on both of them, and so the one that wasn't affected passed his save, and the one that was staked failed his save. So I was trying to get rid of both of them. But hey, it could have been worse.
But hey ho.